So what we're going to do here is actually, we've contacted Kenneth, who's at the United Nations in New York, and we'll go right to him now. Kenneth, first of all, welcome to the program. What was your reaction when Canada made its announcement?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised at the strength of the statements made by both the Justice Minister Wilson and Indigenous Affairs Bennett. When you take them both together, they're quite strong. It's a definite 180-degree turn from the previous government, and also from previous Liberal governments as well. It's not just the Harper government that has been obstructive. The previous Liberal government too was, although helpful, they could have been better. The Justin Trudeau Liberals are certainly taking a major step above and beyond what the previous governments have done. Although I'm cautiously optimistic, there are still some limits that Bennett has talked about. Of course, it has to be within the Canadian Constitution, which is understandable from their perspective. But when they talk about free, prior, and informed consent and using the treaty process and self-government process as a model, we have some problems with that.
Okay, Kenneth, there's obviously going to be a lot of work that has to be done here. What do you see happening in the short term and the long term?
Well, first of all, I think the government, I think the announcement itself probably might have shook up some of the bureaucrats in Ottawa back home who didn't see this coming, because I think the statement was being crafted right up to the last minute, and so some of the language in there probably took their own government aback a bit, and so they're going to have to try to adjust and try to see what actually it means from their point of view. From my point of view, from our point of view, though, is that when it says that it's going to fully implement the declaration without reservations, and that's the whole package, and we're going to what we have to do is push the government to make sure that there are no conditions and that it's everything. When they talk about the declaration being fully part of their constitution, Section 35, then I think it's our role now is to push them to make sure that actually happens, and that's both a short and long term strategy on our side. And I think that we should probably start talking to the government and let them know this is how we see how our rights are going to be asserted, and how Canada has to adjust to the assertion of those rights.
On a more personal note, Kenneth, obviously you've been working on this for so long. It must have given you some sort of sense of pride or vindication or something like that. Just tell us a little about what it meant for you.
Well, it's heartening to see that any government would accept the declaration that broadly after all the resistance that we've been fighting all of these years. I've been involved since '87, so this is my 30th year involved at the international level. So yes, it is a bit of vindication, I guess, because that there have been some people who have been critical of the declaration, saying, well, it's not binding, it'll never have any use or have any force. And now you have this statement by Canada, and we've been saying all along that the rights inside this declaration have value, and over time it'll come effect and help us at the people at the grassroots level. And now we're reaching that point, and now so I feel good about that. I've always felt good about the declaration, and I think it's also nice to hear that the Mohawk Council has, or at least Joe Norton has said some kind words in the press release about my activity over these years. So it's heartfelt. I appreciate that that our people are recognizing the work not only of myself but so many other people that have fought so hard over the years.